A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. The most common way to write a ratio is as a fraction, 1 divided by 2. We could also write it using the word 2, as 1 to 2. Finally, we could write this ratio using a colon between the two numbers, 1 to 2. Ratios are used in everyday life. A decorator will mix paint in a certain ratio to produce a specific color. Suppose you mix 1 part of blue paint for every 2 parts of yellow paint to make green paint. A ratio compares two things in the same unit of measure. It doesn't matter what that unit of measure is, pounds, cubic centimeters, gallons, meters, it matters only that the two are measured in the same units. Equivalent ratios are ratios that make the same comparison of numbers. Two ratios are equivalent if one can be expressed as a multiple of the other. A fraction is in simplest form if the top and bottom have no common factors other than 1. Example. Reduce the fraction, 5 divided by 10, to its simplest form. Remember that reducing a fraction to its simplest form just means you must divide the numerator and denominator by the same number until they cannot be divided anymore. We can reduce the fraction by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 5. Half is the simplest form of 5 divided by 10. Example, green paint is made by mixing blue and yellow paint in the ratio 1 to 2. If 6 gallons of yellow paint is used, how much blue paint will be needed? A proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equal, two equivalent fractions. Finding the missing value in a proportion means finding the missing value for two equivalent fractions. We can solve proportions using cross-product property. With cross-multiplying, you take the numerator of the first fraction and multiply it by the denominator of the second fraction. Then, you set that equal to the denominator of the first fraction times the numerator of the second fraction. The answer is x equals 3. So, you need 3 gallons of blue paint to mix with 6 gallons of yellow paint.